We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 68 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. This week, we're going to switch up the format a little bit. Usually we pick a subject. This week, Scott has gone out and surprised us and picked up some trivia, so everybody can play at home. And we're just going to answer some questions, see how much everybody knows. And then we're going to talk about what we watched this week. And we hope you enjoy it.
And then we're going to go try not to freeze our asses off.
That's true.
Global warming.
Some of us don't have heat in our apartments very well, so this is going very, very well.
Well, in that case, those summer nights are calling.
Stone in love.
Stone in love.
All right. So, Scott, you got a plan for this or something, or what's the deal there?
I've got a very loose plan. My plan was to just ask you these trivia questions I found online.
Are you going to direct them at individuals? Do we have to buzz in? Is this like Reach for the Top?
Well, I wasn't a part of Reach for the Top.
One of us is getting kicked out.
I was not invited to be a part of that group. / I didn't know how to try out. / that just wasn't my thing.
You didn't know how to walk into a room on a Wednesday at lunch. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly. I was busy eating in a hallway somewhere.
That's fair.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
I blame your high school girlfriend.
As we all
What
do.
I don't blame her for is our incredible movie knowledge.
Yes.
Hit us with your first trivia question.
Okay, so the first one I found, which I thought would be a kind of interesting one, kind of easy potentially, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Whoever wants to just throw the answer up first, just go for it. I don't know if we want to keep track or not. For those at home,
do we have to answer like Jeopardy?
Score.
Is this going to be like Jeopardy? Do we have to answer in the form of a question?
No, because that always confused me a little bit on Jeopardy.
Okay, so it's more whose line is it anyway? I got it.
Yeah, just throw it out there. You can
Well,
buzz
the questions
first
are
if you
made up
want.
and so are the answers.
Well, I'm
and
not
our
making up the questions.
podcast
By
doesn't
defense.
matter. Let's do this.
Let's do this. The first question I found was, which 1997 film stars Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, and John Malkovich?
All right, well, I'm out on this one.
Okay, see, I wasn't sure how hard this was because I knew the answer to this,
Man.
but I was also like, I just knew this movie because I grew up with it a little bit.
Man, I'll be honest.
Would you like me to read the trivia fact below it because it doesn't really give much away?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so it says, put the
Because
buddy...
I'm leaning towards like Face Off, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like a Nicolas Cage movie.
No, that is Nicolas Cage. That's Nicolas Cage
Okay.
and...
For some reason, I thought it was Travolta.
Well, that's the other guy in the face-off. That's the one he switches off with. They're the two switch faces.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, yes, but that's not this movie. This is... they're on a plane in it. That's a little hint.
Is it Con Air?
It is Con Air. Have you guys... I'm guessing Craig probably hasn't seen Con Air then.
I have not seen Con Air.
I saw it like once. I was like 13 at the cottage. So it was one of those movies where I was like, I'm going to play my Game Boy and then have a movie playing in the background.
That's really fair. I remember this being one of the ones that me and my grandpa and my dad watched on VHS a bunch. Nicolas Cage has just really long hair. The name of the movie says it all in it. It's a bunch of convicts on a plane.
Convicts on an airplane. Yeah.
Yep, they crash, and then hijinks happen after that.
In my mind, I always get Con Air and was it Passenger 47 or whatever it is, the Wesley Snipes movie. I always get those two mixed up in my head for some reason.
As long as you don't confuse it with Train 48.
How dare you? I will never confuse anything with Train 48. How do you take perfection of the Canadian variety and mix it with movies that did decent? You can't.
You can't.
Train 48 is fantastic. What's our next question, Scott? Give it.
Okay,
bring it on.
so
Let's try and redeem ourselves.
I'm hoping this one's maybe a little easier. So what year was Forrest Gump released?
Fuck.
Hint, it was after we were born.
Oh, shit.
That helps.
I was thinking 96.
I was going to say 93, so...
I want to say 96. I'm locking in that answer. I assume it's wrong because you have an answer.
Scott.
Well, I was waiting for both you to lock it in, I
It
guess.
was
Yeah.
Scott. You were in the middle of saying that it was after we were born, but before. You were going to say 2000.
Yes, I was going to say that, yeah. But that's kind of, I feel like that's a little obvious.
Yeah,
but,
it definitely wasn't 2001.
yeah,
Wow.
but, I was trying to help a little
Lock.
bit with, narrowing it down a little bit. But Andrew's got 96
just
locked in. What
disappeared
is
entirely.
yours? Craig, were you going to go 93?
Say 94. Craig, say 94. Or 98. I'm not feeling confident about the odd numbers.
It was the top grossing film in its year, if that helps, in the U.S. It won 45 awards and had 65 nominations. Wow, that's a
Oh,
lot.
damn. Okay.
It's
Well,
a good movie.
Craig's not answering. Give us the answer.
So it was 94.
94. Okay.
Yeah, so the year after we were born, that's kind of that's why it stuck out to me to say.
Okay.
The year we were
yep.
born, I guess.
I figured it was an even number. I wasn't sure. It looks like Craig, he got ousted. We were talking about getting kicked out of this Reach for the Top type thing. He got kicked out by the computer.
Did he now? Oh, of
Oh,
course.
is he back? He's not back.
I don't know. He just
Well,
froze it.
on to the next trivia question. I got this.
Okay, you got
Give
this?
me an opportunity to build a lead before he comes back.
Okay, I like that idea. Okay. Well, now we're into I'm just going randomly off this couple articles I've found. So this now says 90s movie soundtrack trivia. Should we just go with that?
Let's do this.
Okay, the first-
I know like 4 songs from the 90s.
All right, the first one is, what year was the song My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic released?
I'm assuming the year the Titanic came.
Well, I would guess that, but I'm just, I was,
Oh,
I'm
man.
just, I didn't write
I
the
don't even know.
questions,
When
I'm
did
just
that
picking
come?
them.
What, did the Titanic come out in like the 80s?
No, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
Late
95?
Can you repeat the question?
Late 90s.
There he is. Hey, Craig, so this is a 90s movie soundtrack trivia question.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing, what year was the song My Heart Will Go On from Titanic released?
98. That's my guess.
I
97.
think that's too late. 94.
Okay, whatever. So Craig's got 94.
I'm
Andrew,
going to say 97. I'm going to say 97.
and Andrew's got it with 97.
Really?
It was the
I
hit
get
song.
2 half points for 2 questions I've answered. I'm at 1 point. Fuck yes.
I've given you 2 on the score sheet.
Thanks, man.
I'm,
I appreciate it.
I'm trying.
Okay, next question.
Next question. What artist sang the song "Oh Pretty Woman" from the film Pretty Woman?
Pretty woman.
It's either
Is that
Roy
the- is that
Orbison
the
or it's
song?
Van Halen.
Craig got it with the
I'm gonna
first
go
one.
I'm gonna go with the first one.
Yeah, it's Roy.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't know that,
originally
that's
a Roy
why-
Orbison song.
You killed that, Craig. You
Van
didn't even have to
Halen-
think about
Van
it.
Halen covered it. They're both excellent versions of the song, by the way.
I'll have to trust
take your
you
word
on
for
that. Yeah. All right, this one I think is kind of an interesting question. Which 90s movie soundtrack is the best-selling soundtrack of all time? Assuming it means best-selling movie soundtrack of all time at the time of this article, at least.
90s.
Is this from the 90s?
Yeah. Well, it's a 90s movie soundtrack.
Tarzan.
Man,
Tarzan?
that's a solid guess. Tarzan's
That is a very
solid.
good guess.
I was leaning towards something Disney.
Disney is actually the second highest gross I'm seeing, with Aladdin, actually, in 92.
Aladdin beat out Tarzan. Jesus.
Yeah, but this is something
Okay.
completely different. Not Disney, if that helps.
Not Disney.
This is not one I would have guessed either. But looking at like what it's saying about,
Can you give me a hint with the genre?
I guess it's a drama. I've never seen this movie, to be honest. Also,
Is it that one? Is The Bodyguard?
it is The Bodyguard.
Fuck yes.
Nice, because it features 5 hit singles by Whitney Houston.
There's Whitney Houston. I couldn't remember it was her or Tina Turner. I was like, it's got to be that one. Like I know one song.
Yep, you
off
got
the
it. You
album.
nailed it. It's got 5. It's I Will Always Love You, Run to You, I'm Every Woman.
I knew
Nothing,
the
and Queen of
Bodyguard
the Night.
had like one really weird record associated with it, like a record that it had broken.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we'll take a stab with it. I knew it was like something that didn't fucking make sense because it has nothing to do with whatever is going on. It definitely wasn't Kiss from a Rose Batman movie. So
Sadly not. I wish it was that. That would be that's probably my number one album from the 90s. That or Space
honestly,
Jam.
Craig's guess, I would have given like I don't know what year the animated Tarzan movie came out, but
Must have
it
been
was worth it.
in the 90s.
Yeah, I think
See, I
it was
feel
in the
like it
later
was-
90s.
I feel like it was like 2002 or something. I know NSYNC was still a thing because they teamed up with Phil Collins for that one song.
Now that my computer's back to life, I'll look it up.
Okay.
Fact check. Well, Craig does that. Let's try to give me another advantage.
I mean,
Hit us with the next
I only
question.
got 3
Okay.
points. So.
I'm throwing this one out there. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to get this, but I like this movie, so I'm going to ask the question. So,
Okay.
which 90s movie 90s movie features the songs "My Guy" and then in brackets "My God" and "I Will Follow Him"?
I don't know.
Is this a movie I should know?
I'm pulling
Potentially, it
myself out
had a
of this one.
sequel. It gives it right away if I tell you who the lead is.
Tarzan came out in '99.
She's part of The
99.
View now, if that helps. I think it's The View. Is that the one where the ladies all talk on a panel?
You're
Yeah.
describing most of daytime television right now, Scott.
That's fair. I was trying to give a very vague, but I thought that also kind
I
of
don't know, man.
because she very recently joined The View in the last several years, I guess. She's been
I've
there
got
for a while
nothing.
now, I guess. It was
Got
Sister
nothing,
Act.
man. Oh, Whoopi. Okay.
Whoopi, yeah.
That makes sense.
It was 92, and yeah. I like those two movies. So
Are all the questions 90s related?
for this particular list,
These
did
ones
I
are.
not
Okay.
mention that at the beginning
Okay.
of this list? No.
Okay,
Okay,
I
my
guess I
bad.
missed it.
That was my mistake. I probably forgot.
Because I was
to
like,
mention
these have been all 90s questions. Is that our theme? Things that we were barely old enough to understand,
Yeah.
let alone know.
See if you can remember stuff from when you were 6. I dare you.
it. That's fair.
Remember things that weren't family related.
This is why I brought a few of them up. Should we switch it up to some TV trivia now? That's not particularly
I think
90s
Craig
related?
will do real well with that. So let's
Probably
try
do
that.
better
one.
at that than the '90s soundtrack thing.
That's fair. You knew.
I have one answer,
You
and it's
nailed that Roy Orbison
only
question.
because I know that he did that song.
I bet you there's at least one Cheers question in there.
Well, we'll see.
To
So,
which the answer is Ted Danson.
Always Ted Danson.
Always. Fuck Kelsey Grammer. It's Ted Danson.
do we want a Nickelodeon question? Because that's the first
Hit
easy
me with
question.
it. Hit me with it.
Okay, so which Nickelodeon adventurer grew quickly from age 7 to 10 years old and moved to the city in a spin-off in 2014?
Is that Dora the
Um,
Explorer?
Oh,
Nice, he nailed it.
Did I?
know that.
was it?
Yeah, it is. It says answer
Fuck.
Dora the Explorer, the spin-off.
Honestly,
is
I
Dora and
was
the
going
Friends
like-
in the city.
When the fuck did she? Oh man, is that what they're making the movie about?
Potentially, I don't know.
God damn.
That was just the first easy question. I don't like this one. Doesn't show like I had to click show answer, so I don't see the answer right away. So this is a mystery for all of us sometimes. That's why I like this quiz a little bit more. But now I'm scrolling through because there's a bunch of random questions. Like, okay, so which late night TV host aired a special live episode, the first ever for NBC after Trump's speech at the 2016 Republican convention?
Well, it's one of the big three.
Yeah, and they're still all on TV, I believe.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I can try. Which? Oh wait, I'm sorry. I scrolled down and went right past it. Which late night TV host aired a special live episode, the first ever for NBC, after Trump's speech at the 2016 Republican convention? This is a medium level, according to this.
NBC's late night.
Okay, it's gotta be like
Not-
Jimmy. Is it Jimmy
I
Kimmel?
was gonna say not Fallon.
Is
No,
it
it's neither of
Is it
those
Trevor Noah?
two. No,
Is it Stephen Colbert?
no.
Is it that guy who retired?
It's
Colbert
the one
on
from Saturday
CBS.
Night Live.
I have no idea, man.
It's Seth Meyers.
Oh, Seth
Oh,
Meyers.
Seth Meyers. Oh, I forgot that he even had one.
Yeah,
That's
so did
he's
everybody
one of the
else.
most recent ones. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just picking out ones that I feel like a lot of these ones are a little bit like very broad. I'm like I don't care about who plays the character of Dexter. But
Yeah,
let's
I don't
go
fucking
with
know.
which type of dog is Scooby Doo from the cartoon series Scooby Doo?
Isn't he a Great Dane?
Yeah.
He is a Great Dane. Yes.
Yeah, I knew one.
Okay, another super easy one, which I'm sure you'll love.
Yes.
What is Chandler's last name in the show Friends?
Bing.
Bang.
Yeah, that's big. I don't even need to look at the answer.
There
for
we go.
that.
Keep hitting us with the easy one,
Yeah,
so it
we'll
seems
both
like we
answer
know
them at the
stuff.
same time.
Okay, on the show Seinfeld, what was Kramer's first name?
Cosmo.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
I was going to say
You're right.
Coswald, and I was like, it's not Coswald.
Snoopy from the Peanuts is which breed of dog?
The beagle.
Nice.
Yeah, Greg got it. What are the names of two Muppet characters that heckled the rest of the cast from the balcony seats?
Oh,
One
the
of guy's
fucking
name was
old guys.
Waldorf.
Yes, that's one of them.
Yes.
The other one
The
starts
other
with a
one-
T.
Man,
I couldn't
can
honestly
never
tell you.
remember.
Statler,
Oh,
if I'm saying that right. Which, never 100%
Yeah.
certain.
Stadler and Waldorf.
Yeah. So
Didn't you just say it started with a T?
That's what I thought so too. But
now I'm thinking I might have accidentally.
I think
yeah, you
I
definitely.
think
Because
you
it's
did.
definitely
ST,
said the letter
and I'm
T.
like, yeah, that sounds like something I would do.
And the
My
listeners
mistake.
will probably
My bad.
corroborate that.
Please do, guys. Give us a little feedback.
So we can blame this question on Scott.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That is 100% on me, especially.
But
I
Craig
probably
gets
did
half
say
a point because he nailed that Waldorf.
He did.
Half a point for knowing the name of a hotel. Here we go.
There we go.
See, I didn't know it was named after a hotel. But anyways, on to the next easy question. What was the first ever series to air on Disney Channel? I feel like you might not get this one, actually.
I don't know.
Is this the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse?
You're close. It says Good Morning Mickey.
Oh. Nope, no idea then.
Yeah, do we want a Jersey Shore question?
Fuck no.
Okay, this
couldn't
is just
answer
the last
Jersey
one on this
It's
Shore.
page.
podcast
Unless,
time,
just
not
the
unless
last
you
TV.
ask
one on
me
this
which
page.
state Jersey Shore is in.
Unless you ask me what's the biggest waste of time.
Answer.
In which case I will say the
Daily double.
13-17 to
15-17 to Paris.
It's always going to be 13 to me, okay? It doesn't deserve those extra two numbers.
The time. The difference is a 1 o'clock or a 3 o'clock train, man.
It doesn't deserve those numbers, man.
Okay, so on to the next question then. In the TV show The Simpsons, what is the name of Ned Flanders' two children?
Oh, man.
Fuck, I should know.
They
I should know
rhyme.
this.
Yeah.
That helps.
Isn't it like Rod and Todd?
You
or
got
something
it,
like that?
Rod and Todd.
There we go.
Nice.
I knew one was Todd, but I was like, what other name rhymes with Todd? It's not God.
No, they wouldn't name their kid God.
That'd be
Sounds
blasphemy.
more like Gad.
Gad.
Okay, so in the TV show Friends, what color is Ross's favorite shirt?
I don't know.
I'm just going
I didn't see
to
that
throw
episode.
blue out there. Just for
Yellow.
fun.
It's pink.
It's pink. Of course it's pink.
Yeah, it's really
It's probably
vague.
salmon.
I don't know why.
It's
it
probably
was
salmon.
easy. In the show Breaking Bad, where does Walter White hide his money in his house?
I'm going to say floorboards, but it's probably the wall.
I'm going with briefcase.
I
I
did-
watched the
I didn't
Family Guy
watch that.
version of it.
Then Joe Jackson.
It says heating duct. I would have
Oh.
also accepted vents.
Huh, that makes sense.
HVAC
Yeah.
system.
But anyways, that's all the TV questions I felt like asking from this quiz.
So we named it. So we got about a third of them right.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
for us.
You got a good number. I did skip a bunch of the hard questions because I'm like, I don't know these things. I don't care either.
Give us two of the hard questions,
I just
unless you
I
close the
just
page.
closed that tab.
Okay, forget it. Forget it.
We're-
Give us the extra points, Craig. We would have
We're
got
just on to some random movie questions now.
There we go.
All right, so the first one is, which movie of Christian Bale's involved him taking up a crash dieting, smoking, and losing 63 pounds to look the part
Oh,
of
fuck.
a-
I just read something about this the other day where he gets, like, disgustingly skinny.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of
It's
it.
The Machinist, which I'm guessing none of us
That's
have
what it
seen
is.
then.
No.
I've been meaning
No.
to check that out ever since I heard about that rumor. 'Cause I've heard that rumor like a bunch of times. Every time he
I've
comes up in the news, people talk
Because he
about that.
abuses his body for his roles.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so on to hopefully a slightly easier question. Which Coen Brothers cult classic film features the principal character hanging out at a bowling alley all the time, but the
That's the
character
Big
never
Lebowski.
actually
Big Lebowski.
bowls? That's correct. Yes. Thought that was gonna be easy for you guys. The next
Great
one's
movie.
got
The dude.
Okay. This one seems a little harder, but I'm going to skip that. Just random Johnny Depp question. Oh. Okay. Do we want to do movie quotes? Because that's the next thing on this website.
Okay. Okay, for the quotes, do we have to say who said it, or can we just say the movie?
Oh, just the movie.
If we recognize
just the movie.
it. Okay.
Going for the
Okay,
person
cool.
is a little too far.
It was this guy, and he said it at this time in this scene in this movie that came out this year.
Well, it does have the year next to it, but we won't go even that far. So the first
Cool,
quote
cool.
is, "Here's looking at you, kid."
I've heard it.
It is a classic film.
Yep, I can hear it in my head.
Got
Can you give me a year?
1942.
That's super helpful.
That's a lot of classics from that year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking
This is
myself out, even though I
this
just
is the first
Googled it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go on. That was Casablanca.
Casablanca, that makes a lot of
Casablanca?
sense.
Okay. Next one is, this one's pretty easy. "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too."
That one's the Wizard
Oh,
of
that's
Oz.
the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Should we go for the bonus? Which year is the Wizard of Oz from? That's one I actually always remember.
Fuck, I don't know.
52.
Oh, it's earlier than that.
I know.
Yeah, I was thinking like 41.
That's closer. It's 39.
Ah,
1939.
okay. So
Alright.
we got one of the three.
Okay.
What else?
Next one is, "He won't come after me. He won't. I can't explain it. He would have considered that rude." I think that's
Is this
Jodie
a movie
Foster.
I should know?
Yeah, I believe Jodie Foster says this line. That's decent hint.
No idea, man. No idea.
Craig, any guesses?
It's all
I've
on you.
got nothing.
Do you guys want me to give you a slightly more obvious hint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is the one she's talking about?
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Unless I got the person wrong,
fucking
which would be
Silence of
very
the- Silence
embarrassing.
of the Lambs.
Yes,
yeah.
it is Silence of the Lambs.
Lambs.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. I thought
That is
like,
not a Silence of the Lambs quote I ever would have thought of.
No,
That's
neither
the
would
most
I.
obscure one of all the
Yep.
Silence of the
Well,
Lambs
that's like
quotes.
this next one, which is just really vague, which is, didn't I kill you already?
Is this one with some?
This
one
is a
that we should know?
superhero. This is a superhero movie, which actually, Andrew, you've watched recently. It's Hellboy from 2014.
Hellboy.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. That's such
yeah,
a vague
yeah,
one.
he kills the Hell Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super vague though. Like, Jesus.
Okay, should we go for a real, what I think is a really easy one? "You had me at
I
hello."
don't know.
God damn, I don't know.
I bet you've never seen this movie.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
I believe it's also the "Show Me the Money."
Yeah. I'm thinking of
Well, it's Jerry
Jerry
Maguire.
Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, yes.
Yeah.
That's the end of this page. Do we want me to find more trivia questions for us to go with?
Oh, that was a great scene that you had me at hello, where he comes into Renee Zellweger, who's talking with her ladies group, and he's like, "Hello," and he gives her this big long spiel about, why he loves her, and she's like, "You had me at hello," and you're like, "Oh, beautiful line, but what about the rest of it? Comment on the rest of it, bitch. Damn, you complete me."
Okay, so I have a
Lego Batman quotes. There we go. Bonus points.
bonus points. I didn't ask it, but it counts. We do have some more 90s movies quotes trivia from that first article if we want to end off with those before
Okay,
we go into what we watched.
yeah. Let's try to end on a positive
These
note.
first
as opposed
two
to me
are
and Craig just being
really,
like, "Duh."
really easy, so I feel like this is a pretty
Okay.
good one. So the first one is, "There's no crying in baseball."
That one is from A
It
League
is.
of Their Own.
Yes, it is. That's one of my favorite quotes
Nice.
of all time.
Nailed that. Never seen the
I-
movie. Know the quote.
I think
I
you
never
would
would've
love that
guessed
one.
it.
That's Tom Hanks as the coach.
I
of,
know
like,
I
the
would.
first-
I just never get around
it's
to
just
watching it.
great. Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, and that line is just classic. But anyways, on to the next one. "You can't handle the truth." I wasn't gonna give it the whole
That's
emphasis.
oh fuck. I can picture it's Jack Nicholson.
It is
who
Jack
says it.
Nicholson.
And it, to Tom Cruise.
To Tom Cruise. Yep, you're almost there.
Oh, what's the name of the movie though? Oh fuck.
You can
From
do this.
92.
I don't know it.
Oh fuck. It's gonna bug the shit out of me. I'm racking my brain.
It's about a bunch of mediocre dudes.
Close.
Welcome to the 90s. Oh,
I
man,
gave you
can't
the
remember
biggest hint for the
He
title,
really
buddy.
did. He gave you.
A Few Good Men.
There you
That's the
go.
one.
Yeah.
There we go. There we
I
go.
don't know what the term for that is, but there's an expression for that type of name that he gave it. Anyways, this next one's super easy. I see dead people.
Oh, the Sixth Sense.
Yes, yes.
Of course I die right when I'm about to answer the stupid question.
That's it. Craig is dead at the end of the podcast.
Oh, we got a repeat on this list, which is you had me at hello.
Fuck yeah, bonus points!
That one's Jerry Maguire. I know it
you
this
get
time.
that one.
Yes!
Okay, so this one's also another really easy, iconic 90s one. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Well, that one's Home Alone, but it's
Yeah.
from a different movie.
Oh, do you want to go with the bonus point with the
I-
the movie is?
It's like
I only
Angels
ask
with-
because it's the fact underneath this question.
it's like angels with
oh, you
dirty souls or something like that.
filthy souls. Good.
There you go. It's
just-
close.
Fuck, I'm giving you those
I'm
points,
proud of that
Craig.
answer. Yeah,
I'm giving
I
you
would have
those
never
points.
gotten that. I would have gave up. I thought
can-
it was like
I can
Dirty
s-
Harry.
No, I can see the tape in my head. That's the only thing that helped me out there.
Good job. I'm impressed with that call. Cause I like I said, I only knew it because it's written underneath this answer here as a little extra trivia fact. Okay, this one I think's. I don't know if this one's easy, but I've used this one before. But do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
No, I don't.
No, I got
Is this one we should know?
I got nothing.
Well, that's why I wasn't
you,
sure.
you did a voice there. I'm trying to picture.
Sounds like
Yeah,
Murphy
I did a little bit of a
Someone who
voice.
talks
I don't
like
want to say
that.
I did a full voice. I did a little bit. I copied his cadence a little bit, just a
Is
little
it Chris
bit.
Tucker?
It is Chris
sounded like-
Tucker. I did.
Oh, that's
Fuck yeah!
Sounds-
Is it? What are those movies in? Rush Hour.
It is Rush Hour. It's the first Rush
Fuck
Hour.
yes.
I love that line. I did borrow his cadence. I don't want to say I did a voice, but I did borrow his cadence.
Good call. Good call. I don't know what's worse, you doing it or me knowing who it was based off of it.
He does have a very particular cadence,
Yeah.
like in his like the way he
Yeah.
speaks, and like his voice is very unique
Very,
too.
very
but,
clicky with his tongue.
yeah,
Like dup, 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 dup.
and I freaking love him. Like him in Fifth Element as well. Just I freaking.
Damn.
I am a supporter of Chris Tucker, and I'm very sad that he wasn't in more things. Okay, this one again, super easy, I think. But what's in the box?
7.
7.
What's in the box?
This one I'm
Or
not going
Robin
to do 'cause
Scherbatsky
it's from
on
the
How I Met Your Mother.
Titanic. Skipping the Titanic quotes. I hate the
you.
Titanic.
Thank you, Victor Garber and Billy Zane.
This one's
Only.
this one is really. I think this one's a challenging one to end it off for the.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I've
If
never.
we don't get it, give us an easy one.
Yeah, I'll have to go back.
End on a positive
This one
note.
says, "Molly, you in danger, girl."
I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's from Ghost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know one thing about Ghost.
Yeah.
You hate it?
Well, that.
And it's that song?
Ruined that song for me.
Okay, we'll end off with just one real easy, what I think is a slightly easy trivia question then, just a slightly higher note.
Okay.
So this is my favorite Disney movie, animated Disney movie, is the answer. Just a quick
Tarzan.
hint. Nope,
Finding Nemo.
no, definitely not. Okay, James Wood voiced the villain for this movie.
That's
from
Hercules.
97.
Oh, Hercules.
There you go.
Nailed it.
We
Hades.
ended it off on
Fuck
a
it.
high note.
Podcast 5.
Yeah.
I did the clap so that it sounded on the audio. Anyways,
Thanks, man.
that's the trivia. That was just thank you to the websites that provided it. I'm not going to mention you because I didn't save any of you, but thanks for providing us trivia questions so I didn't actually have to
And for
do
those
real
of you at
research.
home who are playing along and beat us, good job.
Good job. Let us know on any of our social media or in our email if you actually played along or listened. You know, that stuff.
Or don't. It's up to you.
Whatever's cool. What'd you guys watch this week?
Well, I'm going to ask a simple favor,
Oh, you did you?
and let me go first.
Oh yeah.
I watched A Simple Favor.
Hit us with your crap take.
That movie was intense.
Okay.
Right.
Fucking
What's this movie? You gotta help me out here.
That's the movie Craig
I talked
referenced
about
last
it
week.
last
The Blake Lively and
right, okay.
Anna Kendrick
Yeah, I just
movie.
needed the spark. I thought so. I just wanted
Yeah.
to, I need the spark. Yeah, okay.
Holy shit.
didn't
I
get
went
to
into it. Craig had said it was pretty good, so I was like, okay, you know what, I'll watch it. And right from the get-go, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I really like Anna Kendrick's character, but she is shady. There's something about her. She's too goody-goody, too perfect. Like, she seems like an overcorrection
Yeah.
right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, she just screams, something bad happened, time to try to fix that. And then as the movie goes on with her character, you're like, what the fuck? Like, you're so dark. You're so capable of shit that you don't see coming at the beginning. And every time you think you're onto something, they're like, okay, you figured it out, but here's this extra shit. You're like, God damn.
This didn't even have anything to do with the plot line. What are you doing to me?
Why are you banging your brother? That did not need to happen.
An
And
actual thing that happens
I know it was based
in the
off.
movie. It's not based off a true story, though. They just make it up to be.
Yeah, just to
make it
exist.
even weirder.
That's part of
just to
marketing.
be like, yeah, she banged her brother, and they kind of leave it ambiguous as to whose kid he is.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing. It was a multiple-time thing.
It was a many-time thing. It was an affair.
And then her husband goes and they die in a car. Was it?
Yeah.
Was it a murder?
Did he
was
kill
it a
them
murder
both?
suicide in one direction or the other?
Was it them being pissed and him like trying to punch the guy and swerving and smoking his really nice car?
We have no
into
idea.
a median?
And no one will
idea.
ever know.
And then you move on to Blake Lively, who's just right out of the gate a badass, just so intense. The only thing for her character that really threw me off is like where she goes and she meets her sister, and she's a totally different person.
Yeah.
Like she's built up this persona, but then she's actually like a total sweetheart.
Yep. Well, because she's
And
the
I was-
normal one of the two.
Yeah. But I was like, what the like it threw me off a little too much being that sweet. And then the best character in the whole damn movie is, I forget his name. It's the guy who voices Matthew on Big Mouth. He is the best character in the whole movie because he's hardly there. There's no reason for his character. He's just one of the like the moms.
So he's
They've got their group of clique moms at the school, and they're they all take their duties or whatever, like volunteering, and then at the end the cops come into his house because they got sent there instead of the right place, and him and the other moms are just like ripping the bong, and then he saves the day. He saves the goddamn day.
I hated
Okay, spoilers.
that. I hated that.
Spoilers. I hated him smoking her with the car.
Yeah.
I loved that he came up and said, "You messed with one of the moms.
That
You messed
part,
with all of us."
that part was good. The rest of it,
I laughed my ass
The
off.
rest of that, like that was so anticlimactic.
Yeah, it just, here you go, you're done. Like someone getting hit by a bus.
Yeah, it's a very abrupt type of movie ending. It's
Yeah.
sometimes a little lazy. Well, I don't want to say lazy, but uncreative maybe.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
the whole unraveling at the end was really lazy. I think.
Yeah, I feel like they just ran out of
Like
time.
they were
They're
just
well,
like, oh, here's how we're gonna solve it. She's gonna capture everything on this little nanny camera, and it's gonna be live broadcast, and then she's gonna get hit by a car, and then
yep.
everything
And then
goes
she's gonna-
back.
and then she's really going to adapt to life in prison.
Yep.
And then what's his face who got shot, her husband, he's going to go and write a second book and he's going to ace it. And then Anna Kendrick is going to have her cooking show on legitimate daytime television and also be a private detective.
Yep. All of that.
What?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was such a bad
Yeah.
ending. Like, do
so
not
random.
don't get me wrong.
Okay, they
Loved
set
the
it up.
movie.
She does a lot of detective work.
Yeah.
Like this
through the movie.
This Emily character, Blake Lively, she goes missing.
Okay.
Right? And then, some people assume she's dead. They find a body, yada, 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 yada. But then Anna Kendrick just doesn't believe it. Like, she finds a bunch of little tiny things and points her in a direction. And she does a lot of really good sleuthing
Yep.
and becomes a super dark character.
Okay.
So, like, there is a reason why they're like, oh, yeah, she's a private detective and she's done whatever amount of cases. But it's just like,
Yeah.
she was a vlog host is what she was. She baked.
It was a weird way to, especially since they just went back to like everything was normal.
That's the part that
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait, like how,
Like all of this has been put together. Like you filmed who you considered to be your best friend, whose husband you were sleeping with, even though she wasn't dead, even though you assumed
And she only knew
was
her,
anyway.
and she only knew Emily for like a month or so.
Yeah,
That's the worst part.
That's what it seemed like, at least. And it's come out that your kid is actually probably your brother's, and
Yes.
then you just go back to normal, like it's nothing.
Like I think she, I think her banging the Emily's husband part was like almost like she's just like death. Not only like turns her on, but like it forces her to love, because it's right after her dad dies that she bangs her brother
Yeah.
or her half brother.
okay.
So I feel like death is the aphrodisiac that sparks everything, because it's right after Emily's funeral that they bone hard. but oh man, it was a really good movie. But the whole thing, you're just like, what the fuck?
Sounds just like one of those novels my mom had next to the
It,
bath
it was
when I was
a book.
growing up.
It was a
book.
novel.
Yeah.
Okay, it was definitely one of those books my mom had next to the freaking bathtub growing up.
It's like someone wrote it, and then they got to the end. They're like, "Fuck, I need like 6 pages to finish this."
Yeah.
Blah, 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 here
And
you
then
go.
they did it.
Well,
But that's not even the worst ending of a movie I see this week. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but I went and saw Glass last week
I do know the ending about this one.
under provocation because my apprentice Aiden was just psyched. He called it the movie of the year.
Okay, well,
Before we went
he
to
was
this
wrong.
movie,
No
Yeah,
movie
he
in
called it, like,
January
December.
has ever been in the
he
history
called it
of
in
movies,
like December.
the
He's
movie
like,
of the
no,
year.
Glass is going to be the movie of the year. Like it's going to be good versus evil, and it's going to be a sleeper pick.
No one's
And he
ever
was
done
so
that
psyched.
concept, by the
He-
way. No one's
he was so
ever
psyched.
done.
No one's ever
good
done
versus
that.
evil.
Yeah. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, man, the movie's going to be shit, okay? Everyone and their grandmother knows M. Night Shyamalan's, like, his secret. That there's going to be a twist at the end. That is his formula.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that Spielberg is going to hit you with in-depth story and then a lot of visuals to distract you from the plot holes. Michael Bay says fuck it and blows shit up for no reason.
Doesn't even
That's
pretend.
the
We all
same
know-
thing, except with explosions, basically.
That's
He's
it.
Spielberg with explosions.
That's it. We all know what these formulas are. So you can't honestly look me in the eye and tell me that M. Night Shyamalan is going to come out with the movie of the fucking year when everyone
January.
knows that at the end there's going to be a twist. And the twist was bullshit. The whole movie, I was like, this fucking sucks. Why did they make this movie? There was literally no need for the movie. It doesn't advance anything. It didn't tie off anything. Like, if they hadn't done that fucking post-credit scene in Split, there would be no need to
Yeah,
even tie that
that's-
into the Like, that's the only thing that sparked this movie was that they're like, oh yeah, let's make it part of the Unbreakable universe. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And then
37% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
that's high. That is higher than I would have given it. This is top 5 worst movies I've ever seen.
78% audience score.
Fuck off. Are you kidding me?
Well,
These are the-
that's
oh
skewed
my
by the
God.
fact that that's only people who actually answer those quizzes or
Yeah,
like
That's true.
the
That's
trivia
true.
things. That's like, okay, have any of us three gone and actually rated anything on IMDb?
I've never gone on and rated anything ever.
Exactly. So that's why I don't always trust those as much. But the
Except
critics
for,
ones are based off of like a little bit more legitimate. Like they're based off actual critics. But yeah,
The worst part is that it scored higher than fucking Batman versus Superman.
yeah. Well, that's
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
Glass was awful.
I didn't see it, but I actually listened to a podcast which completely spoiled it for me, and they didn't like it either. And
It was terrible. Top 5 worst movie I've ever
from
seen.
what
man.
I hear, I'm not planning to watch it till it comes out on DVD.
The only worst, like the only worst movie that comes to mind immediately is The Men Who Stare at Goats. And even that, I'm willing to like give it a couple extra notches on the list just because of its cast, just because it's George Clooney,
Yeah.
it's Ewan McGregor. Like if it wasn't for that, it would be the worst fucking movie ever. But Glass is terrible. Okay,
Yeah,
don't go see
I'm
it.
glad I'm gonna save the money on that one.
Don't go see
I'm
it.
not
I don't
going
know
to.
if anyone no one drafted it, right? None of us drafted it.
No,
I
we all
don't
avoided that like crazy.
think so.
I hope we did. No one was dumb enough to pick Split times 2, right?
I did not. I didn't have it even written down. It looks like.
No one picked Glass.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Because that movie was fucking terrible. Next up on my list, I have How I Met Your Mother because I finished it and started again. And if you're going to judge me, fuck you. That show is fantastic.
all it needs to be
It
said
never
about that.
gets old.
No one's
Never
judging you.
gets old.
No, I can't disagree with that at all. Like it's one of those shows I can definitely always just put back on anytime and be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there it is again.
I put Black Panther on at the shop on Saturday just as something I could...
Oscar nominated Black
Yeah,
Panther.
something I could hit play on like 2 times and my day's done.
Yep.
So that was that was nice. And then I watched the most recent episode of The Flash.
Yeah,
that was
I
on
did too.
that's on Netflix. And I'll be honest, I'm not liking Cisco this season, man.
I don't.
I've always felt that Cisco was hit or miss. Like sometimes he's really cool and chill and like just cool enough, but sometimes he's super fucking whiny.
I agree.
And I feel like this season, like
He's a little
after
extra
losing
whiny.
his power, like
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing this for a reason, like getting rid of his vibe powers, if it's leading into something,
I hope
or if
so.
like they're leading towards him maybe becoming like a villain himself. Who the fuck knows? But he's just so whiny this season, so whiny.
Yeah, no, I agree. I felt that same way, especially during this episode, especially with him. Also, it feels weird, like very out of character for his character now to be like, oh yeah, no, I want to get rid of my vibe powers.
yeah.
And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if we get rid of all meta, if we create a meta cure, then we can solve all the issues that we're doing. Like, what gave you that god complex, man?
It's also
Like,
it's been like 6 years. Why haven't they tried to do like they tried before with like Caitlyn at one point, and then they
yeah.
gave up, and it's like, well, why are we retreading that again? I kind of liked his justification of like, oh well, we turned the bus metas, they didn't have a choice in that, and I'm like, well, yeah, like I like where they ended off the episode with it being more like they're gonna go for a choice for certain metas, but I agree.
I
his
feel like
character's
it's too much like
super whiny.
X-Men. I feel like it's too much like X-Men 3,
That's true.
where they're like, hey, we have the mutant cure.
Yeah,
Come get it if you want it.
I don't want that to be in
Like-
the universe because I just want there to be
No.
more. I just want them to keep doing shit that makes more. Like,
Yeah.
keep blowing up freaking reactors. Keep bringing
Yeah.
Barry out of the Speed Force. Give me more and more metas. I don't care. Like, you guys need more
Yeah.
villains.
I don't
like,
even care. Yeah, they need more heroes too, considering how many fucking meta villains there are.
Yeah, that's true. It's
But
But he
the
is the
more I
Flash.
watch these shows, like I watched a little bit of Supergirl last week, not enough to talk about,
yeah.
but a little bit of Supergirl from the last season. And I'm like, it kind of pissed me off because like there's 23, 24 episodes,
Yeah.
and it's always one at a time, like always one villain at a time. Like one guy comes out, and the next week,
Yeah,
one of them's
that's
like,
the formula.
well, that
yeah.
guy didn't do it. My turn. And I'm like, ugh, hit me with 3 in one day,
No,
just
I-
one
I-
episode,
I know
one
what you
episode,
mean.
like episode 8. Be like, fuck, we got to take down this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. Like,
Or have ones that like do like crossover like 2 episodes. Like some villains, it's like it's not gonna take a whole season.
not one big bad, not
Exactly,
Cicada.
yeah.
Like, how the fuck is Cicada not died? He can throw a knife. That's cool.
Well, he can take the Speed Force away too.
Yeah, but he's got to hit them with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
Like, Barry.
it's a stretch.
like the whole speed thing. Like, Barry's literally gotten faster and faster and faster, and you see scenes where he's like, "Oh yeah, I can basically fucking teleport."
yeah,
The end of season 3 where he goes and gives out his invitations. He does it
no,
instantaneously.
flash time. He freezes time,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah,
he can
like you
flash
tell me he
and
can't
flash,
fucking flash
so,
time.
yeah.
Go fucking hand through the chest on Cicada.
Well, he also isn't a killer, but that's
Become a killer,
That's another
Barry. Okay,
question.
you suck. Send out Killer Frost. She's too nice right now.
that part. I like that they get along. I don't like that Killer Frost has become so mellow.
Chill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I liked when she had a little bit. Like I don't.
Do you guys not appreciate my pun right there? I said she was so chill.
I,
Come on, man. Craig, I
I
get it.
did.
You
I
don't
was
know. You
rolling
don't know that
with
she's
it,
an
so I
ice
didn't lose my
meta,
train of
but
thought.
man. No, I hear what you're saying.
yeah,
Though.
like
But anyways, that's all I watched this week.
right on. So Craig, what did you watch? You were hinting before we started at a certain show that I'm very curious about.
Oh, I'm gonna leave that one to the end then.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't you worry. We're gonna talk about it. So I finished a series of unfortunate events. Finally,
Oh,
Okay.
tiny bit disappointed by the ending, but aside from that,
What was the ending?
well, it's
Spoiler
it's
alert.
kind of 2 parts. They just I know, right? Just drop that. I mean, it's been out for a while.
20 days.
But there's really no resolution with the Baudelaires. They just kind of float away,
But in that
kind of.
defense,
and then there's-
though, it's also like, well, are we gonna follow the kids forever? Is the other question though?
No,
Like,
but
I
we
know what
could
you
have
mean,
had
yeah.
some sort of definitive
It was
resolution because you don't actually see
very
what happens.
open-ended.
You don't really see what happens to them after, but you do see what happens to
They're like
to
niece
the
in
little-
a sense.
yeah, their niece, the what's her name?
Jacqueline? No, I'm getting that
No.
mixed up. It's
Yeah,
been-
with,
I literally binge watched that whole
secretary.
season on the
It's fine.
first day.
I can't remember what the kid's name is. it doesn't matter. So that kind of resolves itself. I don't remember that from reading the book, so obviously I didn't make it that
That
far.
was actually an adjustment from what I've understood from people commenting on my YouTube videos about the last episode.
Interesting. People comment on our YouTube videos?
My YouTube videos, yes. There's our
Taking
podcast
credit.
videos, and then there's the ones I make. There's a significant difference between those two.
Yes.
Did they fall under the Forgot to Grow Up umbrella?
Yes, every video I open is I'm Scott from the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. That's the only way people know me.
I stand by my statement.
Fair enough. That's fair. I was trying to find her name, and now I freaking can't.
It's fine. So I finished that. It was good. Good series. I'll probably watch it again, but it'll be a while. So when I finished that, I was looking for something else to watch, and I could not launch into something that was lighthearted, so I went directly into that documentary about the Fire Festival.
Oh, I want to check that out.
That's been interesting.
Yes.
I'm only halfway through. I had heard about it, but
read a
I didn't
decent
really
amount
know
about it.
a ton of detail. So it's an interesting documentary because they have a lot of footage because the company was hired to document everything.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to make like the whole thing amazing. So they cut a ton of B-roll to put into advertising, and this documentary has most of that footage.
Okay.
So they've got that, then they've got interviews with staff, and they have interviews with attendees, and they have interviews with some people that are on the islands and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the locals
working for
who,
them.
like,
Yeah,
businesses
the locals
and
that
stuff.
it was impacted by it. So it's interesting. It'd be better to have an interview with one of the two main guys or Ja
That's on
Rule.
the Hulu one, actually. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I didn't know that.
So there's a Hulu documentary on this exact same one, which was released 4 days before the Netflix one. Had zero marketing campaign with it, and they paid the guy who ran the whole scam, the guy who's now, I believe, in jail. They
Yep.
paid him like $250,000 for the interview.
So he scammed them too, eh?
From what I hear, they'd go pretty hard on him in the Hulu documentary, don't.
I wish that I could see that now, because that's the documentary I want to see. The Netflix one's pretty good. It's interesting. There's a lot of the music bed for it's a little bit bass heavy, so it makes my living room shake for no reason. I'm watching on like a low volume. I can hear people talking, and then it's like my entire living room starts shaking when yeah, exactly. Like I don't need that. It'd be good if I was wearing headphones, maybe. But aside from that, it was it's an interesting documentary. I'm only halfway through it, and they've already like taken everybody off the island. So,
Yeah, I
it's
believe that's a
kinda-
lot about the aftermath from that point
yeah,
on.
that'll be the part I'll be interested in. I think the
Yeah,
most.
definitely.
It was interesting seeing how it started off as this amazing idea and then just fell off a cliff.
Yep.
And they tried to act, or he tried to act like there was nothing wrong with it.
Yep. Up to like
Even
2 days before it was supposed to happen, he was still advertising like
Yep. Oh yeah,
buy your
they
VIP
went
tickets.
they went right into, and they get into that in the documentary where that
Yeah.
was strictly for financing because they couldn't get enough money
Yeah.
to run it.
Well, because
Um,
they pretty much just like had too big of ambitions for how much they were willing to like charge, even though they were charging like $10,000.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They were
still,
charging
like, went to-
ridiculous amount. Part of the biggest problem is they didn't have the logistics to do it
yeah,
at all.
because they'd never done a festival like this before, and it's like, well, there's whole companies that do this like all year
Yeah,
round. You
exactly.
think you just throw it together in a year? Like, yeah, that, and they spent so
festival
much
like
on
that takes years to put together.
oh yeah, and
for
like
the
they had a
one
lot
year.
of they paid for a lot of celebrity endorsements, which was a lot of like what played into why people went, because like I think Carly Jenner, one of the Kardashians, like pretty much
Yeah, they had a lot of models involved.
yeah,
right?
like
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the like
That was the
Kardashians like
whole-
promoted it, and like
Yeah, that was the whole buzz about it. It's an interesting documentary, but I'll be
yeah,
more
no, I'm
interested
definitely gonna be
in
checking that out.
I'll be more interested in the Fallout. I would love to see that Hulu one, but we're in Canada.
Yeah, well, it's possible we'll get that in the next year or so, but
Yeah, I'll try to hunt it down. Totally legally, don't worry. All
By
of a sudden-
moving to Buffalo.
Yeah, all of a sudden my address changed. Isn't that weird? I started Friends from College. I tried to watch that when it came out the first time. I made it apparently 10 minutes into the first episode.
I remember. I could have sworn you finished it. Like
no.
I remember talking about it.
I watched 10 minutes of the first episode, decided I hated it, and then never went back to it again.
Yeah, that would never
I
like drew me in at all.
I thought I'd finished the first episode, but I didn't. So, I've gone back to it, and I'm going to finish it. It's not my favorite thing in the world.
Second season is a lot better than the first.
So far, Billy Eichner's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fertility doctor is fantastic.
He's hilarious. Well, it's fun. It's interesting seeing him in a very stoic, like serious role.
Exactly, but he's
In
hilarious.
season two,
in a weird way.
spoilers, he talks about Ray Donovan and how he's a fixer.
Yeah.
And then he references himself in a way like that he's kind of like a fixer.
Yeah.
And then they cut to a scene later in that episode where he's sitting in his living room watching Ray Donovan, in quotations. And then it's just like, it's not even Ray Donovan. It's not Liev Schreiber. It's not an episode of Ray Donovan. Trust me, I know this shit.
Yep.
It's just someone saying, I'm Ray Donovan, and I'm a fixer. Like, they just do that to sell it. And like I laughed my ass off because I was like,
ridiculous.
they had to do that because how many people who watch this show on Netflix probably fucking know what or who Ray Donovan is? Probably not many.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny.
But the second season is definitely better than the first.
Well,
especially because the first season came out in like 2017, and then it was just like beginning of this year that the second season came out. So they had like 14 months to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll get through it.
It's not the best show in the world,
Yeah.
but the second season is really the best one.
I'm not crazy about it, so it's going to be a slow burn for me, I think.
It's a slow burn.
Um,
Fred Savage? His character is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't had too much of him so far because I only
There's
watched
a
the
lot
first
of him in the second season.
episode. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it, sort of. Based on that description of it, I'm looking more forward to it than I was before we started this podcast. Well, I was watching some of that Netflix show, Grace and Frankie. Sam's been watching that, so I watched some of that with her. I like Lily Tomlin, and the show is okay. It has its funny moments, but its comedy's a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like something that wouldn't do it for me.
Probably not. It has its it's funny. But a lot of its writing is really easy. It's a typical. It's a pretty typical sitcom. Kind of thing. They get into
like a lot of forced stuff.
Well, yeah, they get into a lot of So basically, the concept is that it's two couples, right? And Grace and Frankie are the wives of two.
Yeah,
men,
and then
of
the
two
husbands are
closeted gay
together,
men.
right?
Yeah. Well, they're closeted gay men, so then they get together and like that's the whole idea. But they're old. Like really old.
So they're all like still together type thing.
Yeah, like Grace and Frankie hang out, and their husbands
all the time,
live
yeah.
together. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. But 98% of it is jokes about how old they are.
Okay.
And so if you can handle watching Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin talk about how old they are,
I've seen a couple of snippets here and there on
most
Instagram.
Opposite people, because Jane Fonda's she ran like a beauty company, is the understanding I've gotten.
So she just
she's
looking at it, she seems super uptight.
The uptight,
but then the other one looks,
and
then the other one looks
Tomlin
like
is a
free
hippie.
love and hippie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's exactly what you'd expect it to be,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it's a lot of jokes. About
It
how
sounds
old.
like a forced show to me. Yeah, it sounds like a forced show to me. I probably won't watch it.
But it is funny, so I will give it that. It's not like it's a terrible show, unwatchable. It is funny. It's enjoyable. It's pretty easy to sit down and watch. Go with that.
Well, you know what else is funny? Sebastian Maniscalco.
That's what
Just
I
watch
watched.
that instead.
That's what I watched. That's the next thing on my list.
Boom.
Yeah.
Segue.
It's like you
Forced
nailed
segue.
it.
I forgot to add that to my list.
Yeah.
And I just thought of it.
So I watched that.
He is hilarious.
His bit about the auto body mechanics, I was dying.
If
she
she
had hit
just
it like
hit you
an
an inch
back,
here,
like an
I
inch
could have
back.
buffed it out.
But this
Well,
way,
I'm gonna
I gotta
take
take
the
off the quarter panel, the
paneling,
door, take the seats
seat,
out,
the
take the
engine.
engine out. It was great.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking 20, 21 grand.
The whole thing where
Yeah.
he like gets down on one knee and takes a look at it, starts talking to himself.
Where this is a shame. Such a shame. When they bring out the best actor.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, can you go take
Hey,
a
what'd
look
you
at
do?
this?
Get hit by a semi?
Oh man, that
No, I love his delivery. I think a lot of it has to do with his like heavy, like Italian
Chicago Italian accent.
Yeah, that he leans on.
I liked it better
But-
than better than his last special.
He seemed more real this one.
Yeah.
There's more real life stuff in this one, like
Yeah.
scenarios. Where in his other one, it was just kind of him being pissed off about stuff. But he speaks to me on a spiritual level, like his in like. I don't want to say I'm old world because I'm not. My old world is Canada. I'm like 47 generations Canadian on my grandfather's side. So, like, I'm fucking Canadian. But like just the way that he describes his family as being like that old school conservative. That's what my grandparents were like, and that's how I was kind of brought up by them. So when he talks about this stuff, where he's just like, "Honey, put in the mouth guard. Like you're gonna lose your teeth. Put in the mouth." That's how I am. Or just, and I'm very skeptical about danger. I'm like, fuck that. You know, I have so many years. I only have so many years to live. Why would I risk it? So when he tells stories about his wife being like, you know, we're gonna go went to a wave runner, and then he's just freaking out about, I don't even swim. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. I give it to you.
Yeah, it was a good special. I liked it.
It's one of those ones that it's better to watch than listen.
Yeah.
Because you
Some
need
of
to
it's
see
his
like his
mannerisms.
reaction.
Yeah, because he takes the mic away from his face a lot. He does like Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. And so you got to watch his face, otherwise you don't understand what's going on.
We had the baby.
That was really good.
Yeah, that's the one. Don't ask me to say anything else like him, but baby.
Yeah, he does that. Does the lip flapping thing when he talks sometimes. So the show that I teased before we started this podcast, the listeners wouldn't have heard, I don't think. I described it as, I believe it was one of the worst shows I've ever seen. Is that what I said?
I think so.
Something
It's
like
the
that.
glass of television.
The thing I don't like about this show is that it should be like halfway decent. Because it's no atypical where I watched the trailer and went, there's no way I'm watching that.
There's no way.
Exactly. There's no way. So I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, that seems like it might be sort of interesting. And then you look at the cast, and I'm about to pull it up. Just give me 2 seconds. But you got Josh Groban, you got
Is this the cop one?
Tony Danza.
It is, isn't it? It's the was it the bad
good
cop or something like
the
that.
Good cop. So
I watched
was
the trailer
like,
of that and immediately thought this is gonna be a fucking shit show.
I was like,
I don't like Josh Groban, but I was like, fuck
this seems like it'll be kind of entertaining. I'll give it a shot. I was gonna have a nap before I watched the podcast, so I figured I'll put something on that I don't really care too much about. And this looks like your typical, 30-minute cop comedy, sort of. Not quite a Brooklyn
Comedy?
comedy. Not quite a Brooklyn Nine-Nine type idea, but like we're different kind of thing. Typical sitcom. So I put it on, and I hate it. But I watched 2.5 episodes.
Yeah,
they are
I entirely
45 minutes long.
What?
45.
How? Who wants to watch Josh Groban that long?
Apparently,
Okay,
a lot of people. And his entire
You-
thing is that he's just 100% by the rules, and his dad is a convicted.
The opposite,
he's a
He
dirty.
was a dirty cop. Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing. And then there's his dad's parole officer, who's somehow involved. And I think I fell asleep when she switched roles, because I think she becomes part of the team or something. And
Okay, fuck, I can't remember the name of that show. It's gonna bug me. Life in Pieces, where they use Josh Groban as the guitar salesman, where he comes out and he's Scottish, and then he's Irish for the rest of it.
sure.
He's trying to sell the guitar to Tim.
Yes,
and
yes,
then
yes, yes.
Yeah. I picture Josh Groban like that in real life. Just a real fucking skis ball piece of shit. Like,
He's,
I just feel like that's what he is.
He's tolerable. Tony Danza's
Ugh.
not bad either. All I can hear
Well,
him
he's the
saying
boss,
is, all
so-
I can hear him is saying Angela, though that's the problem.
Angela. Angela.
Exactly. Every time he talks, I'm just reminded of the Family Guy bit where where Peter just
Angela.
plays bits of who's the
Okay, we'll
boss.
see you Monday.
Exactly, to his boss over the phone. So the thing that really, like, you know, the dialogue is convenient. I'll call it that. So there's that where it's just like, why, like, anybody could have wrote this. It sounds like a high school play. But they have this character. This kid's name is Ryan, and he's supposed to be like the young hip kid that works at the police station, I guess. I don't know. But they paint him to be the biggest idiot. And he's like up on all the trends, and he's got like no idea what's going on. It feels like it was written by a baby boomer to hate on Generation Z or the millennials. That's what
accurate.
it feels like. And
That sounds like something they do.
and Josh Groban's character's got a partner who's an older black cop who's like, imagine
Who's too old for this shit?
Imagine that crossed with Stanley Hudson from The Office, and you've basically got this guy. And
I'm too old for this shit, and I do not care.
all he does is pick on this Ryan guy, but it's like the dumbest. Like, he's the most stereotypical lazy cop ever. The first time you see him, he's like sleeping in his squad car, and Josh Groban comes over and he's like, "Were you sleeping?" He's like, "So what?" And then they gotta like walk up the hill to the dead body that's in the first episode, because of course it's a murder. And he's like, "It's always uphill." And it's just that over and over again. It was irritating. So don't watch that.
Yeah, doesn't sound like something I would.
Don't do it. It's just like everything's so convenient. I don't know. Just no entertainment. This show comes out, but you can't have Battle Creek for more than one season. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit, okay? Don't even get me started.
Like, that was a good comedy.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a new genre, by the way.
Yeah, it
It
is.
definitely is. No, I understood. As soon as you said it, I'm like, no, I know what that is.
No, like there's, I feel like The Good Cop was just them trying to like steal some of the thunder of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That
'Cause
sounds
Brooklyn
like it,
Nine-Nine,
yeah.
especially right now, being on its sixth season, it's hit a point of like steamrolling, and now it's super recognizable.
Yeah, and it like got
when
switched on
Community
networks.
hit season 4,
Yeah.
or How I Met Your Mother hit season 7, season 8. Like those ones that people are finally starting to get heavily into. Not like the originators, like Craig and I have been binging that shit since day one, son. But I feel like they're just trying to like get in on that comedy genre where they're like, oh yeah, this is open now. Not many people are doing this right now. I'm Josh Groban.
And it's such an easy, like, cheap show to make, because like cop shows in general are super easy, and you throw over to a comedy.
Where do you have to go? You could walk anywhere.
Exactly.
You literally just have to film someone walking down the street and then get a fucking room.
Yep.
That's all you have to do.
Yep. And that's
Go film half of it in a parking
that's
garage.
why they're so on board
probably
with
going to
these
find a
things.
dead body.
Yep.
Well, the best, so like the scene where they're where like it was hard to get a gauge on what the show was going to be, because they make a big deal about how Josh Groban's character is like this really uptight guy. And
Do you think he's going to start to like loosen up by the end and be like, oh no, maybe my dad had it right. I need to be a little bit funner.
probably will. Because Tony Danza's the man. No, he's the boss. So they're like, they've set him up as like this really uptight guy, and then it's like it cuts to a scene in a park, and there's like a lady running, like right after the credits. There's a lady running by the river, and then there's these two punks on skateboards with helmets on because they're safe, and and they're riding on the trail, and you can tell that they're not supposed to be there because they're making a big deal about how they're doing it, and they're like swerving in and out among people, and then one of them kind of elbows the lady, and you think, oh, is it going to be one of these where it's some ridiculous premise where it's like the lady got assaulted in the park and Josh Groban's going to take care of it because they're not supposed to be skateboarding there, and the one goes over the hill, and then there's a dead body. Yep.
That's so weak.
Yep.
Ugh.
It was exactly
that
like
show.
John Mulaney described, minus the parking garage. It was
We're gonna find a dead body.
Riverside Park in the morning. Weird and crappy dialogue.
Hey, look.
Broad daylight on a Saturday. We're gonna find a dead body.
And then they did. God damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And it. I feel like I'm not spoiling it for anybody. It turns out, super conveniently, it's the cop that put his dad in jail that's dead.
Sounds about
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna be like, that sounds like a
And
pilot.
all
Was
the
it, right,
evidence,
was it right after his dad got out?
It was 2 months after his dad got
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And
So it looks like his dad planned it
and
in
what's
jail.
what's
God
even
damn.
better is that the only evidence they have is that he was like he was shot. He was drugged up, suffocated, and then shot 6 times, and the 6 bullets all came from Josh Groban's gun.
Jesus.
Yep, it's that kind of show.
I retire. I can't do podcasts about TV and movies anymore when there's shows like that out there that are probably gonna get a second fucking season.
Probably. Scott, what did you
Come
watch
back.
this week? Can we please not talk about this anymore?
Fuck.
Well, speaking of shows that probably aren't going to get another season, I watched the 2nd season of The Punisher, which was added on Friday. And God, was it long. Every episode was close
Yeah.
to an hour long, which, when you have 13 episodes and you're trying to binge it, it's
That's a day. That is a day.
Yeah, I didn't get done till like 8 o'clock at night on freaking Saturday. It was ridiculous. It felt like a chore a little bit. I felt there was at least one. When I was doing my review for YouTube for it, I was like, oh, episode 11, nothing happened. This is the episode they could have just deleted. Like, the only good thing about that episode is that's the episode. Wait, have you seen it? Do you care if I spoil it?
Myself? Spoil it,
Okay.
man. I'm probably
Karen
not gonna
Page
watch
just
it. I
shows
didn't
up
like
for
the
one
first season.
episode, right?
Who does?
Karen Page, she's the secretary in Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
So she shows up in episode 11, but that's all episode 11 is really about. Is just they make a side plot for a reason for her to show up, and then it all is resolved by the end of that episode.
That's the formula they use though. They throw you one episode near the end to slow it down.
And I hate those.
And then after that, they're just like, okay,
I
here we
hate
go.
those episodes in Netflix Marvel ones are it's part of their formula. I get it. It's just it drives me insane because it's oh, come on, guys. You wonder why now these.
Or at the end of the season, they're like, here's the origin of this character. Yeah. Why the fuck couldn't you give it to me that episode 3?
Well, see, it wasn't even like that. This one, it was we got it was the Predator thinks he kills some innocent people in a sense, but he was set up, right? And I'm like, well,
Okay.
yeah, no, I saw that coming as soon as this happened, right? And so the whole episode just felt a little pointless. But overall, I enjoyed the season. It just it felt long, but at the same time, that's what happens when you binge watch something. So I do it to myself, but it wasn't as fun a watch as Titans, but it was still enjoyable. They had a good amount of action and stuff. So, but I don't think it's getting a 3rd season just based off of what everything else got. I don't particularly care if it gets another season.
Honestly, I didn't even really like the first.
Yeah.
And I don't blame John Bernthal.
Oh,
I'm not a massive fan of him. He's a really good actor. He just doesn't do it for me.
That's fair.
It's just the Punisher character. There's only so much you can do with
It's
him.
true.
In a live action aspect.
Yes.
As a comic book character, you can have him be the bad, the kind of X factor. He's I'm going to kill anyone who does wrong.
Yeah.
That's my job. It's easy to do that in print or, in a cartoon where he's able to do. But live action, there's only so much you can do. There's only so many people you can fucking kill before someone notices that there's a room full of dead fucking bodies.
Yeah, which I thought they did a decent job in the 2nd season of addressing that being his kind of issue. They did a good job of having a reason why he's doing this and why he's being hunted down, and why a lot of it is kind of self-defense. So, he can pretty much everyone he kills already had a gun on them, so it's kind of like, well, the police are just going to chalk it up to some kind of thing, right? Like a lot of, like half the season you just hear a lot of it being like, oh, just chalk it up to gang violence, and it's like, okay, well, the Predator is kind of, it was kind of easy for that, but I know what you mean. Like, it is kind of, he's a harder character to do because he's just always on the run and stuff like that, to come up with some crazy plot contrivance at the end of the first season just so that he wasn't in jail and wasn't on the run either, though, but he also wasn't allowed to be in like the spotlight anymore. It was a whole very confusing thing to set him up for the second season.
Turn it into the Equalizer TV show. That would be amazing. Fuck the Punisher. Just give me 11 episodes of the Equalizer.
Well, you say that, and I'm sure we're at least within 5 to 10 years of that potentially happening. So.
Probably, because you got to cash in minimally on stuff that did moderate at the box office.
There's a Taken, the TV series. There's a Lethal Weapon TV series. There's a bunch of other ones that are just random actions, like trilogies or movies that got turned into.
TV series?
Yes, I think it only got one season before being canceled, but yeah, it's about
how do you make a Taken TV series?
Battle Creek only got one.
Yeah,
it's about like Liam Neeson's character, but when he was like 20. So it's like it has nothing. It's pretty much about him learning.
He's getting trained.
I think that's what I imagine. That's what it's about. Him acquiring those particular set of skills. But I've never seen it because I immediately was like, no, this is just be.
Ooh, Adam Goldberg's in it.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. But anywho, besides The Punisher, I also watched The Grand Tour, the first episode of the 3rd season that was released last Friday. Freaking love that show. It's half the reason I have Amazon Prime. And
which show was it?
That's The Grand Tour. That's the car show. That's Amazon, hashtag Amazon's hit car show. That was part of their marketing. It was just a funny bit.
Yeah, because the first time I saw it was like Amazon shit car show. I'm sure that they kind of did it on purpose that way.
Yeah, it was probably part of it. But yeah, no, I just love that show. Those 3 guys. I'd watch them host a cooking show, for God's sakes. They
have good
chemistry,
rapport.
Yeah,
that's the word.
They've been just doing it so long. Like that's why I liked their show before and why I followed them to this show. And yeah, so I enjoyed it. I'm excited for like the next episode to come out. It is a week-to-week thing, which I kind of like because then I don't binge it all, and I get a little bit more like I get to savor it a little bit. Yeah, so I watched the first episode of that, and then the only other thing I watched besides The Flash, which me and Andrew already talked about for a little bit, was the Death of Superman animated movie. Finally got to watch it.
Really fucking good, right?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I knew exactly.
You know what comes out next week?
The
Reign of the Superman.
That's partly why I watched it.
So psyched.
And
psyched.
I'm psyched for that too, and I really enjoyed it, even though I knew exactly how it was going to go, but I was still down for it.
This is a really, like, the other Death of the Superman movie that came out years ago. Yeah. It was pretty good at the time.
Yes, it was. It's generally when you have a Superman dying, it's a good movie for the a good story for the most part, because it's like, oh shit.
Like, this one, I like that it had the Justice League involved, whereas before it was just Doomsday and him. I like this one was like the Justice League couldn't take him down.
Yeah, and he's like, the one line he has is like, maybe it's time you call in the cavalry, and Superman's like, I am the cavalry. I'm like, oh, you are. It was awesome. It was a great line.
I liked seeing Batman in the role of, like, you know, he's always kind of team leader, right? He's got to be the one to like put shit real, tell people how it is, and this is what's going on. I liked him kind of like openly admitting like he's just a fucking man.
Yeah.
And he's done it in a lot of the other ones, like Justice League War. You know, the initial one that kicked off this whole animated franchise, where he's talking to Hal Jordan, and he's like, "You and me, we're really the only ones here that that shouldn't be here. We're both just guys, but you have a ring." And he's Batman. I'm like, fuck yes. So even in a Superman movie, Batman's just stealing the light from me.
No,
but I also like that, like, you get to see him where he admits he's like, you know, he is the best of us. He is, and it just, man. I'm so psyched for like Batman Hush. I'm so psyched for that movie. But every animated DC movie that they've come up with, even like the Lego DC movies that have come out over the last couple of years, like, they're so fantastic.
Oh, I love them all. They're just, I like the art style. I enjoy just
I was going to say the art style is amazing. Like, it's just flat enough where it's not like, oh, here's intense. Like, honestly, like, the animation style that they used in that Spider-Man movie, just from watching the trailer, it's too bright for me. It's too
I
like
can
it's
see
you
how
know what
that-
I mean.
I know what you mean.
Like it's
Like-
it's too vibrant. I like the kind of not dark, but like
Muted.
more flat color. Yeah, muted. That's a good way to put it. Like I like that animation style that they use.
Yeah, it's very
So I'm like,
reminiscent of the animated series.
I'm not looking at crazy features on their face. I'm not seeing like wicked dimples. It's just here's the face.
I'm so impressed by
Deal
the
with it.
simplicity
Watch the story.
that, like, of the design that's still like so like both simple but complex. Like
Yeah.
they use like 4 shapes and that's somebody's freaking whole face and it's like, oh well, yeah, that's all you need. You need a couple eyes, a nose,
Yeah.
and a mouth. Then their head. So
that's
like,
all I need to see. Here's the
Yeah,
cowl.
exactly.
Go nuts. Here's the cape.
Yeah, but no, I really like the Batman's character in it too, because like you see like 3 of the like you get Green Lantern gets taken out by him, and Hawkman gets taken out by Doomsday, and you see Batman still like
One-
swinging around, keeping it up, while like half of the
He's trying to keep him distracted.
yeah.
You see Wonder Woman get her ass kicked,
Yeah.
which I kind of like, to be honest. But that's a different
I
topic
think that
for a
was
different
more
day.
about showing that this one was all about showing that Superman obviously is the most powerful.
Is the
of
only
them,
one, yeah.
And it took him to have to be able to end it. And he had to sacrifice his life to do it. And yeah.
See, I like and even in Batman versus Superman, like I like the Superman versus Doomsday because that's the only way to get rid of him is to kill
Yeah.
him. That's it. There's no other way to
Yeah.
to succeed. There's no metahuman handcuffs to get rid of Doomsday. It's you gotta kill him.
Well, I never get why he doesn't try to fly him to the sun. That's one of my only qualms ever about him, like Superman versus Doomsday is Superman can fly.
And then that's probably when you like if they did that, that would be a solid step into like was it Superstar Superman or whatever it is, where
Oh,
like
yeah.
he gets overloaded with the sun's energy and he starts to like die and he's gonna blow up
yeah,
because his body can't like,
handle all the radiation. Yeah.
handle it all.
That would be a cool.
That would be a
tie-in.
solid transition into
Yes,
that.
I agree.
Or All Stars was All Star Superman.
Yeah, All Star.
Like that would be that would be a pretty cool transition in this DC animated multiverse.
But yeah, that's Superman. Great. I'm gonna be watching Batman Gotham by Gaslight next because I have that from the library. So
You still haven't? I thought you'd seen
I
it.
hadn't yet. It just kept getting like
Oh,
falling
I
in
can't.
between the cracks.
Well, I can't wait to talk about that
Next week.
week.
But that brings us to the end of this week, I believe.
Yep.
I do
That's
declare.
all I watched. So thanks for joining us, everybody. If you did,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.